Hey guys, welcome back as always. My name is Lazar, and today, my friends, today we got something a little different. Today we're gonna talk to a couple of players about the state of Warframe. Now, normally when you hear about or see vids like this, it's something like, hey, let me rant on about Warframe for 20 minutes, but I believe that to get a more complete point of view, you should really talk to as many players as you can. So today I got Akron from, I wanted to say Poland, but then I remembered you're from Canada, right?
Yeah, I don't know where Poland came from. Not even same continent.
I'm gonna tell you, like, Poland came from Wikwa. Hi, Wikwa. Wikwa is from Poland.
Hello.
And Dennis is from
Canada as well.
Canada as well. I got two Canadians. Jeez, I should return one and get something else.
Two for one deal.
Yeah. Today I want to ask you a couple of questions. You are all former or current Warframe players. So let's start on that topic. First of all, do you guys still play Warframe? Let's go from ladies first. We'll go Wikwa, Akron, Dennis. Go.
So I do play Warframe. I just usually run around random missions when I have the time.
Can you also tell me what do you find appealing about exactly what you do? I mean, running around and playing. What is the appeal of Warframe to you?
Feeling like a god when you just kill everybody.
Feeling like a god when you just kill everybody. So you don't really care about balance and stuff like this. You just want to have a good time by killing scores upon scores of enemies. Would that be correct?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I still play for sure. I've only been playing for about a year and a half, but I had a lot of fun just leveling weapons, like spending a lot of money on Forma in that case because I leveled everything. But yeah, I've done everything in the game mostly, but I still play to do the dailies sometimes and stuff. But I'll take little breaks once in a while. But yeah, me too. It's just fun to jump around, kill stuff really quick, and see what rewards you can get. Mostly just the Anasa, you know. I'm not really too worried about what's super strong and what's super weak, but I have fun trying those things out once in a while. That's about it.
And basically just using the movement that's available in Warframe that's not available in other games.
Yeah.
Would you say that, Wikwa, since you mentioned that, would you say that what makes Warframe unique is this parkour system that we have?
Yes. Other games don't let you just run around doing backflips around the entire map. Other games just make the maps as constricted so they know where you're going to go and what you're going to do, so they don't have to worry about any bugs.
Definitely. I can definitely see where you're coming from. If you were to compare Warframe, because you brought up the uniqueness of Warframe, if you were to compare it with any other game,
Don't think so, but I think it's also because I don't play many games.
you don't play a whole lot of games. There's a lot of comparison usually in the community. They like to compare, well, some like to compare Warframe to Destiny. On a personal level, because I'm going to weigh in on this one, I never really saw it as a fair comparison. I always found the two games extremely different.
They're completely different games. I mean, the only thing they have that I would say is similar is that they're space magic. That's about it.
Space magic. Yeah.
Outside of that, I mean, both games play completely differently. Destiny, you play it because it has an end game. The mechanics, as far as like the guns, are great. I mean, nothing compares to Warframe when it comes to movement, obviously, in this genre of gaming. But after a while playing Warframe, it just became more of the same. So that's when I kind of stopped. And even with Destiny, I mean, we just had a new season and a new expansion that started, and within a month it already feels like there's not much to do. Now Destiny does a staggered release for their seasons to try to keep people entertained, but the reality is it just there's so little content that they're trying to drag it on longer.
Would you say this is an issue with this type of game in general, the fact that it needs content updates all the time to make it interesting, to keep
Sorry, go ahead.
To keep you engaged, basically?
Yeah, I mean, the second you try to put that live service into a game, and you need to stick to it and start always having new content to keep people around, and I mean, there's only so much content they're gonna make.
Would you think it would be a better approach to see these games as something you play through like an RPG, like a single player RPG, and when you're done at the end just simply drop it and move on to something else? You think that would be a more healthier approach to things from a player perspective, not necessarily from a development perspective?
Dude, it's been a very long time since I've played an RPG like that. So ask me this again when I finish playing Cyberpunk. But just been playing like this style of game for such a long time that I've just kind of gotten used to it. But then that's why you just play with a couple of different games here and there. Just so when you get bored of one, you have something to keep you entertained, and then you get bored of that and you move on to one of the other ones. Destiny, I still come back to just because, I mean, Destiny is a very fun game. There's obviously a lot of things that are wrong with it, too. But it's like what you guys said with Warframe. You enjoy Warframe because it gives you that movement and everything. I like Destiny because the gunplay and even some of the powers now, they actually feel really good. So gameplay is what's keeping you there, but I don't know how much it's getting you to be invested in the game over the long run. I mean, here's the thing. It's almost like playing video games has become a second job, right? You spend so much time investing into one game that you kind of forget that when we were kids and we had like consoles and we'd get like 20, 30 games and we'd just go back and forth between the games. Whereas now it's like, if this one game that I'm playing, if this doesn't have all the content, then it's an awful game and I need to dump this and find another game that I can invest my entire time into. Whereas you could just spend your time playing different games, and that way you don't really get bored of one.
Because I see a lot of opinions that sound something along these lines. Oh my god, XYZ game is absolutely horrible, it's terrible, don't play it, blah blah blah. From players that have thousands of hours in that title.
Maybe the point is that they did enjoy it, and when they stopped enjoying the title, they just kept playing because they had so many hours invested in it, and it's not healthy to do that. You're basically forcing yourself to do something, and at that moment, the game stops becoming fun, and you just start hating it.
What would you recommend players that feel like that do?
Just take a break, try to find another game that maybe it's similar, maybe it's not similar. Just try to find something else you enjoy, so you don't force yourself to do something, so you can find enjoyment in the game again.
To be honest, I find that to be extremely solid and reasonable advice. Now, Dennis, here's a question for you, because you said you basically did everything in the game. One, how do you feel about MR chasing? And second of all, when you felt you did quote-unquote everything in the game, what did you do next? Did you drop the game, try something else? Did you try to make up your own content in Warframe? Or did you find other solutions to keep yourself entertained?
Well, MR chasing isn't really something, like some people will do it, some people won't. There's no reason to go past what MR20 really for items, other than the new rewards for MR30, but which I just got recently with the new patch, because I was I think 2,000 or 3,000 short. But it's not really, like, I rushed through everything, like really rushed through everything as fast as I could, pretty much, because I was enjoying it. It was a game I played a lot of hours in when I was off of work, and I was formatting everything, trying all the builds. The only thing I didn't really do were the tridalons. It's basically the only thing I haven't done. But I think I wouldn't suggest anyone who's going to play this and wants to put the hours in to rush through it, because you're just taking away the time that you're going to get to enjoy it. You know, like, some people should not rush through this game, because there is a lot of hours you can put into it of enjoyment if you don't rush through it. You know, especially when you're not paying for it. Like, I'm sure most of us, like, a lot of people have put a lot of money into it, obviously, but like, there's no need to do that if you're just looking to get some enjoyment out of it.
Speaking of money into it, here's another question. Have any of you at any point felt like you had to, and I want to stress this out, you had to put money into the game?
Only because I was rushing through, and Forma is not something you can get quickly unless you pay for it, basically. That's the only time I felt maybe that I had to. I didn't really have to, but because of what I wanted to do, I needed to.
Now, I know for a fact that Acheron spent hundreds, hundreds of dollars,
Other than
but
that-
he's spent on cosmetics because he obviously has problems. Now,
As have I.
the question would be: do you see that as just an option that you took because you wanted to, or did you see that like something you had to do in the game?
I mean, when it comes to the cosmetics, no, it's not because you have to do it. It's because you wanted to do it. And in my case, most of the money went to the Tenno stuff. Because I think I've said this before, but the Tenno program, the fact that the people that are designing these are getting a portion of the sales, I mean, that's pretty cool. So I had no issue supporting the people that are putting like this much effort into the cosmetics. So no, I never really like. I agree with the forma part. Like I've been there where you just wanted to forma a weapon 7 times and you only had like 2 forma left because you'd already formaed something else like 20 times. So yeah, the forma part I could see where it makes you feel like you have to get it, but the truth is you don't actually have to because you could just wait, right? But when you get to that point where the only thing you can focus on is, oh yeah, I need to format this weapon, I think that's when you start to get into the groove of this game's getting a little stale for you.
Final question would be something like this: what would make your experience in Warframe more enjoyable? What would keep you playing and engaged? What would you like to see more of in Warframe, or perhaps even less of in Warframe? Let's go ladies first. Wikwa?
Actually, the only thing I would say I hate in Warframe are these missions which are dependent on the not the objectives. I mean, like the defection mission, where you have to protect something, and you can't really enjoy yourself because you have to stay right in this one place, and you really can't move around from the objective because you're going to lose. That's the only thing I don't enjoy on the game. Like
Awesome.
I love just freedom of doing whatever I want.
What would I change, basically? Or what my favorite parts are?
Yeah, both, essentially.
Yeah.
What
The
would
only
keep
thing
you playing? What would you like to see more in Warframe? Something that will make your experience essentially more enjoyable.
The only thing I've always had an issue with since I got into them was like the whole Riven system. I'm not really a fan of like endless Kuva as well. Basically, as you said before, it's like a slot machine, right? It's the odds are not in your favor to get anything good on a Riven, even though Rivens are not really necessary for 99% of the content anyway. But changing that would probably be ideal. I actually enjoy the open worlds, even though they're not really maybe the most popular. But I too like the openness of the missions more than the constricted ones. It's hard to say what they should be adding because there's just so much they could add. Like I said, there might be another open world coming, most likely, and that's fine. I don't mind that at all. The more constricted missions are actually pretty annoying. Like some of the Lua missions are basically like the small hallways that have pillars to stop you from going quickly. Though those are more annoying to me than than anything else because it stops your movement. And to go back to like what he was saying earlier, when you go play another game, like when I played this game for quite a while, and then I went back to like a Destiny or anything else, really, the first thing you notice is how slow the other games are. So I too love the movement of this game. As all I played was this for a while, and then you go back to something else, and it's like you're like crawling around.
I think a good description, at least on my side, is that when I went to play Destiny, I felt like I had sand in my boots.
Exactly.
It's like, oh my god, I can't jump. I can't go faster than this. No way.
Yeah.
Go.
And you definitely don't notice that until you play Warframe for a while.
Yeah.
Because I played Destiny 1 a little bit, a bunch of Destiny 2 for a while, and then I came to Warframe, and then I went back, and that's when you notice it. You don't notice it until you play something else afterwards.
Acheron, same question.
I think I'm a little out of touch with this game to say what's good or what's bad about it. But my guess is there's still no real end game, right?
Of course not.
Yeah. So that's always been an issue with this game. You
Outside of
spend all
fashion
this-
frame. Outside of fashion frame. Exactly what we're doing
Right.
right now.
Like, you spend all this time formatting these weapons, getting these really good ribbons. Why? What's the purpose behind it all? When you could run through the entire game with a Kraken.
Especially now the Kuva version, yeah.
Oh, is there a better? Is that
There
a
is
better version
a
of the
better
Kraken
version
now?
called the Kuva Kraken, which is actually quite the strong weapon, I would say.
Perfect. Yeah, that's been the thing with this game. Like, I enjoyed this game for quite a few years, and after a while, I was like, what's the point of all of this? Why am I putting my time into this for the same thing over and over again? Do I really find enjoyment in running a 2-hour survival mission just to see how far my build can go? Is that really what I'm considering enjoyment? And I personally don't. I don't like staying in a mission for longer than 20 minutes because that gets boring. I think if they were to reintroduce the raids and do it properly this time, that might actually make me want to come back to this game. If there was some group play end game. I'm not talking about just like a difficult mission that you gotta like build up for. But yeah. I mean, that's still one of the best things about Destiny, just the raids.
The raids, absolutely. That's like what I liked about Destiny as well. The one thing that I would have loved to take away from Destiny and put it into Warframe, if I had that possibility, was definitely the raids. Because you know what? We got better fashion. Fashion is definitely better
It is.
in Warframe.
But fashion only keeps you interested for so long, right? I mean, look how much money I spent on fashion, and I haven't touched this game in 5-6 months, I think, at this point.
You should really give it another spin. They have implemented several other aspects to the game that you might find interesting, especially on the fashion side, because you do like your fashion. And I think that's pretty much it, my friends. Thank you so much for sharing your opinions with me. I appreciate it, and hopefully it will help somebody with something. As always, my name is Lazer. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you like what you saw, come back again tomorrow, same time, same place, for another YouTube video. Probably not on Warframe though. Say bye-bye, guys. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.